Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is another update or a new update coming down to Thomas Crooks, which is the assassin that attempted to take Donald Trump's life. What ended up happening here is that we ended up finding a bit more information regarding him because the FBI seems to have been hiding things or not telling us things that they should be telling us, which is not really a surprise here. I mean, the FBI has been notorious; it's just been god awful, and Cash Patel is really not making this any much better. But we're going to see on what is going on. So, without further ado, let's get to the end of this. So we have this here from the New York Post saying Miranda Devines, FBI, Secret Service butchered the Thomas Crooks case and invited conspiracies. We deserve the truth. So what we have here is that apparently he had a furry fetish. When told of Crooks' online threats, he said there was no way the FBI would not be aware of the teenager. No matter how ridiculous the allegation, no matter if it's COVID or not, somebody's going to knock on somebody's door, Swanson said. If they investigated that the kid, there's a record of it, and there's an assessment that some leader made that this was not a threat or it rose to a level, and they did something else. He also said that if the FBI had that information about the name on the PayPal account, I can't even imagine they would have not reached out to me all right away. Says, given Crooks' pattern of tracking high-profile mass shootings and violent events, the source believes it is plausible that he adopted Swanson's name as a private joke. Just like Tyler Robertson, Charlie Crooks' assassin, Crooks appears to have been interested in furries and exploring gender identity, which is crazy behavior. He described himself with the pronouns they, them on the platform DeviantArt, which is one of the biggest online hubs for furry art and furry community. Now, I'm not going to explain what a furry is because you guys can go look that stuff up yourself because it's traumatizing, really. I actually know somebody that is of the furry community. At least that's what he says. So I may actually ask him on what really is going on here with that because that is something that is quite strange. I don't know very much about DeviantArt. I don't use it. I hardly ever go on the website, and I usually just use it for artists to create random stuff or fan-made stuff or etc. That's usually what DeviantArt is. What I know it for is, but it could also be a furry hub as well. Two accounts linked to Crooks' primary email were found on DeviantArt under usernames called Epic Microwave and Epic Microwave. The account suggests he had an obsession with scantily clad cartoon characters, sporting muscle-bound male bodies and female heads. Pals with neo-Nazis. One of the people Crooks interacted with online was Willie Tippies, a member of Norwegian neo-Nazi group, the Nordic Resistance Movement, which has since been designated a terrorist organization by the State Department. Turbies encourage violence, and Crooks' extremism using Maoist phrase, political power comes from the barrel of a gun, was repeated several times. In one comment to October 5th, 2025, more than a year after Butler, Tippies committed to another user that he had been contacted by both Russian and American intelligence. So that's what we have here. Now, granted, guys, I am a person that is of... I like to have information shown to me. Now, this is all alleged, right? And I don't know how true this is or how not true it is. Because, again, this would make sense in the fact that for the furry situation here, mostly just due to the fact that a lot of these people, anybody that's going to assassinate Trump is not going to be a Republican, all right? It's just not going to happen. It'd be extremely crazy if that was. And most of the people that hate Trump and been calling Trump this or that have been on the far left. So, I mean, it's the same thing here. The same thing where you go out and say, oh, a Democrat has been assassinated. Well, maybe it might be a Republican because obviously that's where the ties are going to be. Now, the far left are incredibly radical, so it could be the far left as well. But again, it's just unlikely. But at this point in time, we're seeing on how crazy the far left has become. Again, we have this here. Thomas Matthew Crooks went by they, them on DeviantArt. Linked account reveals furry fetish. Online social media account that has been linked to the would-be Trump assassin, Thomas Matthew Crooks, shows the shooter appeared to have a furry fetish, and it also describes him as having they, them pronouns, according to a report on the New York Post. Now, this is what we have here with the regardings of all the situation. So I'm getting this from multiple places. And Benny Johnson has gone out and said that it has now been confirmed that attempted Trump assassin Thomas Crooks used they them pronouns, had a deep interest in furries, and was exploring gender identity. Add it to the list. Charlie Kirk's assassin Charlie Robinson had a furry obsession and lived with transgender boyfriend. A New Asian Catholic Church shooter identified as trans. Nashville Christian shooter identified as trans. Lakewood Church shooter identified as trans. Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. Denver shooter identified as trans. Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. And Iowa high school shooter trans activist. Radical gender ideology is pushing unstable individuals toward violence and targeting innocent people. Trans violence is an epidemic and the threat is escalating. So, again here, this is what we have. Now, we also have to talk about this here because Thomas Crooks was also seemed to have growing out his hair long. Now, I'm not saying that not all guys that grow out their hair long are a trans individual, all right? That's not what I'm saying here. Because obviously, I know a few friends that have their hair grow out long or what have you. It does not mean they're part of a trans ideology or what have you. But if we are going to start connecting dots here, guys, you got to connect dots. So if he was trying to transition to they, them, or a female, or etc., and he has grown out long hair, you could probably assume that maybe this guy was maybe of that they them ideology. Not trying to say this, but again, people are going with this here and or what have you, and it's saying he is part of the transgender community or what have you. What I want here from Miranda here is that I want more information regarding this, right? I want more information of actual proof showing that this person had any form of transgender ideology whatsoever, right? This is what I want. I want pictures. I want screenshots. I want video. Pictures works well too, but I need to actually have more information here before I go out and start labeling this guy as a furry, right? But again, this is kind of the allegations that are being made. We don't know whether this is true or not. There is not actual evidence proving this or showing this. We need actual evidence here. I don't like it that this woman kind of put this stuff out and then didn't show actual evidence of the situation. Now, can we connect dots? Yes, we can start connecting dots here. This is not hard. But again, if we don't start doing things correctly here, like showing actual proof, then it's not going to do much, right? It just seems like it's just an accusation to have an accusation. Of course, this is also close to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Suspect furry fixation, and his trans boyfriend proclaims support for Biden on social media. So yeah, I'm not going to put this article necessarily down on the things below because again, I want actual true information here. I want pictures. As soon as I see pictures, I'll redo this again. But again, I don't have, this is somebody who's saying this with the word of mouth and not showing actual pictures. We need pictures of this. So we'll see what happens here in the coming weeks to months. And if this happens to grow bigger, we'll find out. But until then, I need to wait to find actual information. But it is kind of interesting that this person has potentially been a furry, and we need to find out more stuff about this, right? So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.